know it's No Ideas Original.
Welcome to the No Ideas Original Podcast featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Ken. Episode 178. What's up, yo? How y'all doing? No Ideas Original Podcast featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Ken. Is that one of y'all? Yo, how y'all doing? No Ideas.
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Is that one of y'all? I hear some feedback.
I heard it too.
I think we're good now.
All right, we good. Good. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right. What's up with you? What you been up to?
This is what I've been up to. I'm on 9.
Oh, I see it, man.
Juice.
I've been watching the videos there, man.
Yeah. I'm putting a little inspiration in. I'm waking people up with a little hip hop on there with the juice mix. But look, I got this gut. I said it. I probably said it on the last couple of podcasts. I want to get rid of this gut that started it. Janelle and I have adopted this juice. 28-day straight juicing. That's our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We just implemented a couple of seeds, like sunflower seeds, and
you do the flax?
Nah, just we would do the flax if we were doing like an ultimate cleanse, but the fruit right now is doing great wonders because we're eating a lot of apples. The apples is giving us our fiber, and that itself is helping. But we put together some good stuff, man. I tell you, I've got a burst of energy during the day. I don't lag off for fucking naps. Like, I'm really feeling my energy during the duration of the day. There's no lag the entire day.
Oh, that's
wow,
good.
That's good.
I feel that. I feel that.
What about from a weight standpoint? Because I know you said one of your goals is to lose a couple of pounds. Have you been weighing yourself?
I got on a scale. When we started, I was 214. I'm under 208 now.
Okay.
Really? That's good, man.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good.
So,
You using one of those cold press juices or like?
I have it is a power press. It's a masticated joint, so it really grinds it out and it spits out the pulp.
Okay.
And we use all the basic fruits and vegetables, man. There are only 2 fruits that I can't use because it was 3 things that I can't use because of the ill effect with my meds. That's grapefruit, pomegranate, and kale.
Got you.
Blood thinners, those things that kind of stretch it too much.
Gotcha.
I mean, and I don't want to bottom out. So outside of that, between pear, apple, orange, lemon, lime, cherries, blueberries, raspberries, sunberries, blackberries, celery, cucumber. We even squeezing some.
Salute, ginger. Ricky. What's up?
You know,
you said ginger? Ginger too.
Ginger too, and it's funny. We made a crazy mason jar of ginger, squeezing ginger. So the juice I have, bro, it squeezed the life out of you.
Nice.
Yeah, what's up, Nev? I see you, Sim. So
yo, that's good, man. So, how many days you trying to do it for?
28. Today's day 9.
Oh, nice.
Ooh. Okay, all right.
I'm on board.
Yeah,
let me tell you something. No, the toughest part, I'm gonna be honest, because I'm a snack king, is when that urge comes from chips. I want a cookie or make me a sandwich, and I love bread too. So I'm happy that I've gotten past the urge part, and now I'm just in the rotation. It's just it's routine now.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure the first 48 hours, the first 3 days.
Got a headache. It's like, what you doing? you got your devil on your shoulder. You can eat a piece of cake.
Nah, but in terms of your digestive system, man, I'm sure it's probably been helpful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And not to be crass, but I will be crass. Fluids assimilate. So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not gonna have much poop. Was I lying? Because here I'm not taking in no solid foods, right? And no solid foods in a full week, and I'm still eliminating solid waste.
Yeah.
So that means we're all full of shit at some point.
Yeah.
And like I said, and you asked about the flaxseed, yada. That's what the apples is for, because the pepsin in the apples, the fiber in the apples, that shit it pushes whatever's in there out the door, bro.
Nice.
So
stay on it though, man. Stay on it. And you said the goal is to get under 2?
My goal is to get under 2, 195. So I'm at 208, coming from 215. So I got some ways to go, and I implemented a small little workout that I seen on Instagram, that I seen my homeboys doing, a little calisthenic, 5-10
Okay.
minute burnout.
Nice.
Sure enough, it works. It's a burnout. Let me tell you something. My thighs was heavy the other day. I'm like, damn, son, I ain't feel that burn in a minute. But no pain, no gain. So it felt good, bro.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what you could do with diet and like exercise. I think like during the pandemic, I was able to get down from over 2 to like 175 at one point.
Yeah.
And when I went right back to work.
Bad
Bagels was sitting right there, wasn't it? The bagels and the croissants.
Yeah. Croissants. Yeah, for sure. JS Self-Care. What's up, Janelle? How you doing?
What up, man?
Yo, so let's get into it. The first topic for tonight, first thing we're going to talk about is half of U.S. jobs requiring bachelor's degrees will be dropping their requirements in 2024. Just wondering from you guys' perspective, what do you think that's about, and is it a good thing? Let's start with you, Rob. What do you think that's about?
Well, the companies are struggling. But my thing about that is that as companies are struggling, you're lowering or you're eliminating the bachelor degree requirement. Now, do you vet how do you vet experience, and how do you vet knowledge at this point? Now, because now that you do that, now you open the market. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of high school graduates out there, or people that just want jobs. But, are they required, or do they have the experience necessary to complete the job? Because that's important too. And come to find out, about 80% of hiring managers and employers require experience. You know what I'm saying? Not always along with the bachelor's, but you gotta have some experience if you want to get the job, pretty much. So
yeah. I mean, you know what? Maybe that's the reason why people are more inclined to waive the educational component, because maybe they feel like, you know what, if you've practiced it, and you can demonstrate that you're capable of doing it, then it's okay for us to move forward without you actually having the theoretical understanding of what it is that you're doing. Right. Because you figure there are a lot of people. And
you can train on the job too, and if you bring somebody in, you train them on the job, they can acclimate to what you're showing them, and they seem to have a good head on their shoulders. It seems to work out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a proponent of that. I don't have a bachelor's degree, and I had a nice 20+ year career in corporate America just by hard work and right foot forward, right place, right time, representing myself or presenting myself in a way. And I tell you, my name helped me too, because I got the most. You know what I'm saying? I say I got the most Caucasianest name in the world.
There's a lot of ambiguity there.
Yeah.
So,
what who do you think is who do you think that they think when they hear Shannon, what the candidate is gonna look like?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or Robert Nicholas. Like, Robert Nicholas, yeah, we know who we getting. I come in there with dreads. They was like, oh shit, say Robert.
Yeah, what they thought.
I had the beard on. I had everything on. My dreads. It was like, that's a different Robert Nicholas, bro. That's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but haven't we gotten to a time where it's like, it's almost like a setup, right? Because you see there are people who go to school forever and they get degrees, and then when they go for a job, people will be like, it's great you got a degree, but you don't have any experience. Or the other way around is that if you go for a job, you have all this experience, but then people will be like, it's great that you have all this experience, but this job actually requires a degree. So it kind of is. It's very difficult, to kind of have both to a degree, right? Because sometimes people aren't willing to take a chance on folks. What do you think, Kenyatta?
You know what I think is really driving this? I think the tech space is driving this, because what's happening is with the emergence of all these online schools and all these different tech trainings and video trainings and stuff like that, you got kids that could code coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So they don't need to go to school for that stuff no more. The only thing that's bad about it is that you have a situation where it's going to become like a cyclic thing. So either college is going to have to drop their prices, or something's going to have to change, because again, even though it's a university, it's a business. Like I get to, speak of my own thing, son was got a college degree and a master's, and it's not that easy to find a job even with those two things.
Yeah.
You drop the requirements and stuff, so it just changes a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does that say for people who graduate or looking to graduate with their bachelor's?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I get a shot? If they're giving this opportunity to those who don't even need to fulfill a discipline? Because what do you get from a bachelor's? Explain. I don't know. What do you get from a bachelor's?
A commitment. I think what
Well, that's why I agree. I agree with that. I agree. I definitely think that a lot of times, you know, what happens is that there's an assumption that because a person has, you know, a certain amount of degrees, that means that they have a, you know, higher intellectual capacity than somebody who may not have one. I'm not necessarily in agreement with that. I feel like a 4-year degree shows that a person was able to commit to something and they made an investment in higher education. They believe strongly in higher education. I think when you start talking about masters is more specialty oriented. You know, like your master's degree is more so around whatever your discipline is.
Right.
So I'm not. I mean, like I'm not opposed to. I think it opens it up. But I also wonder. I was thinking, like when we brought this up, like some of the professions that possibly require a bachelor's degree, and if they actually really require a bachelor's degree, because you'll see places that are, you know, fairly decent paying jobs where, you know, maybe a manager at JC Penney's or whatever it is making 80 grand, but they require a bachelor's degree. Well, you know, I don't. What do they a bachelor's degree in?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I think
What is
what's interesting about those jobs is that a lot of times, even people like you can go to school for business, they would tend to take somebody who worked in that place for multiple years that kind of understood the business as maybe even as associate in that role before they would take somebody that came out of school as just a person that went to school for management.
Right.
Because they don't have the experience. Like
Demetrius on IG said, you get in debt and have to work to pay it off. It's to keep you working. Education should be free to the public in a country like the USA. Yeah, I mean, other countries definitely have that over us.
Yeah, I know somebody who actually
a lot of shit other countries have over us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know a guy who started off working like in a shoe department in a shoe store, ended up becoming the manager of the actual shoe department, and then becoming like the person, like the buyer and the order, all through the progression of being at the job. And this is for Macy. So you a lot of times when you without degrees and stuff, you could progress through. I don't know if he would have got the role if he just came in from school to be like a manager.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. A lot of it has to do with, I think, like also the impression, like what you value or what's the premium placed on things. Because like there are people that I know that they go to school solely based on thinking that because I'm going to school, it should guarantee that I should get a promotion or I should move further. And you know, like I tell a lot of the students that I work with that if your expectation is that just because you've gone to school, if your expectation is that just because you've gone to school that automatically you're gonna get a promotion, it doesn't work that way. It's not gonna happen like that for you.
Are they dropping this requirement because I don't know diversity market? But are they losing business? Maybe people aren't going for jobs. You got more entrepreneurs and more people doing things on their own now than it is. You know, I was wondering about that. Like,
no, I think you're right.
I
think you're right. I think a lot of people are going for the entrepreneur route. They're trying to do their own things. And I think in some cases that makes sense. I don't think a lot of people also think that through too, because people give you the impression or they say the thing they don't want to work 40 hours for somebody else's vision or somebody else's job. But you're going to work 100 hours.
You work harder for yourself.
Your own vision or something. And with some, there's no guaranteed bottom line in that either. So,
you know, and like I said, like if it's in the tech industry, like Yada said, I get it because look at where we're at. AI is through the roof. Everything is technological, and it's gonna be that way. So you're gonna need the bodies. You're gonna need. You're gonna need the little 14-year-old code writers and all that. And it's necessary to have an open venue for that without requirement. Because these kids nowadays, the millennials and passed on, they're finding ways to get past having to do all of that extra work, I would say. get where they need to go. Like, I mean, we see it all day, man. People get on here on YouTube and become sensations overnight, showing toys and showing their ass and everything.
Yo, so then that brings me to this question. And so then, what in fact are there jobs that you feel that a bachelor should remain absolutely mandatory? That schooling is absolutely mandatory, and you need theory
to teach.
Because I wouldn't put my doctor straight out of high school.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking no doctor off no videos. Yeah, you can't YouTube your way to a doctor.
Nah, you can't. I'm not taking no advice from a doctor over YouTube. I'm not
doing that. I mean, the medical field, obviously, I do think teaching, you have to have to teach somebody else, you should have some formalized training on teaching people. I think that's like understated. People think because they could do math in school, they could teach math, which is something completely different. So I think teaching is one thing you definitely have to go to school for.
Right. So I mean, and if the bachelor's degree is teaching you some soft skills, some life skills, as you're going into college because you're on your own, then along with your discipline or whatever you're studying, it should be involving you with learning that as well, because soft skills like punctuality.
Hey, you know what? You're talking about like time. That's the whole thing in itself.
Appropriately, you know what I'm saying?
Professionalism is a whole separate thing. You'd be surprised how many people don't know that, don't understand it, and don't get it.
Don't get it. It's not I'm gonna show up my Jordans.
Yeah, you mean show up to work at the time you're supposed to be there and then eat breakfast?
Yeah. I had a discussion with a woman this week at my job. She was talking to me about like training protocol and stuff like that. She was advocating on behalf of somebody that we didn't hire, getting additional training. So it was a person that we didn't hire, but they brought the person in early because they anticipated that the person would not be able to do certain responsibilities of the job. So they worked with the person wasn't able to do it, and then they told the person that they weren't a good candidate because they weren't able to do whatever it was. The woman and her husband came in advocating on behalf of the person because that staff member was going to work with their loved one. And she was talking to me about like the training. She was like, yeah, because you got to customize your training for people and it's that or whatever, and which is true in some regards. Sometimes you do have to, it requires more training for other people. But I was saying to her, like, all right, so what do you do when you have situations where, like you said, Kenyatta, when there's people who just don't ever show up on time? Like, what's the training for somebody who can't show up on time? What's the training for somebody who, no matter how many times you talk to them, they do the same thing over? Like, training is for technical aspects of the job. Soft skills is like soft skills, like being on time, knowing to be on time, knowing that you should dress a certain way or whatever. Like, what is the training around those kind of things?
Well, I would tell you this. I tell everybody this at the job, and I will tell everybody this now. There's very few things you can control, but you know what you can control? Showing up on time. If you can't do those two things and your own effort, those are the only three things you can control at a job. Showing up on time, and your effort. Everything else is subject to change or whatever. And if you can't do those three things, you can get let go at any given point.
And those are soft skills. They're not hard, bro. People make it hard because I'm gonna say it, fucking lazy. They don't want to get up. They don't want to they don't want to be accountable. Get your ass up.
Where did you learn soft skills at though? When did you first learn, and where did you learn it at? And then I'm gonna tell you a story when I knew that I'm like, okay, the industry is recognizing that this may be an issue. The industry has noticed that this may be an issue. But where did you learn soft skills from, and when did you learn it?
I learned them early. I learned them. Rest in peace to my Aunt Mary. She was very punctual. I got up at 7 o'clock every morning, like clockwork, bro. And make my bed, breakfast was done, and I was ready outside. And then where it reinforced was when I went to private school about punctuality and dressing appropriately. And I stuck with, even to this day, I hate being late. I do not like being late.
I don't like being late either.
Either on time or I got a couple of minutes to eat a bagel or do whatever I need before I clock in or do whatever I got.
Oh, you ain't gonna punch in and then eat your breakfast?
No, I don't do that. I don't do that because in my mind, my day is I already got my mind set for what I got to do once I punch in. and it ain't eating. I've already ate.
Yeah.
So my rearing came early in life, bro. Real early.
Yeah. Beth said you can't train someone to have work ethic. I agree. That's a fact. What about you, Kenyatta? When did you learn soft skills and when did you learn them?
I think early on from my mom, like she would go to work on time. She was sick. She would have complaints, but she'd be doing extra work that other people supposed to be doing, all types of stuff like that. And she was always like hustling to get it done and stuff like that. So watching her do it or something, and plus she always liked to be on time, and always put a lot of that stuff a priority. So I just kind of followed that.
About you,
yeah, I would say the same. You know, I think it was instilled from my parents. And also, like, I think when I got my first summer job, you know, like realizing like, okay, there's a little bit of responsibility. Like you have to, these things that you have to do. And then later in life, I think about when my daughter got her first summer job. And I remember she was like, well, we work 4 days out of the week. I was like, when I was doing the summer job, it was 5 days out of the week. She was like, no, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Fridays, we have to go to like a seminar for life skills. So I was like, like, tell me what kind of stuff? She was like, well, they talk to you about how you should dress for work. They talk to you about, you know, that you should be on time for work and all these things. So I'm like, so somebody recognized within the industry, like this is a target area that we need to actually sit down with people and talk to them about the importance of if your work starts at 9, you need to be there at 9. I just don't. She was 14 years old. Why are we having this conversation with people that's 34 years old that know they start at 9 a.m.?
They're not punctual. And it starts at home. If you allow a kid to slip all day because they ain't got nothing to do, they bored, they're going to be lazy. When it's time for them to do something, they're not going to want to do it. Yeah. It's just repetitious behavior. And if you condition yourself to do that, it's going to be hard to break it when it's time for you to need it.
But you know what happens? People don't realize they make things easy because I think everybody's looking for some kind of either instant gratification or instant retribution. So let's say you show up late today or something, and they tell you one time, listen, you know what? You can't be showing up late. The next 2 or 3 times they may not say nothing. 4th time they be like, yeah, we found somebody else. It's not working out. Now you sitting here like, why they ain't tell me? Well, we did tell you. It's not our responsibility to come and bark at you and yell at you every single time you do it. And so you just make it easy. And you do anything else, we can point to the fact, regardless if we want to or not, we can point to your latenesses, your timeliness, all that type of stuff.
Tardiness, you're taking breaks, you got 40 breaks, you got to eat, you got to leave because you got to pick up your sister.
Let me read some of these IG comments.
Nobody's tell you that.
So Janelle says summer youth. Beth said we had a bus on the farm, and if we missed it, my parents had to drive us 15 miles. We did not doodle. That's right. You know, you ain't on the bus. The parents got to make up for it. Janelle said, believe it or not, C-Town on 169th Street, if you were late, you could not pack bags. There you go. Teaching you the importance of being on time. And then Demetrius said, Rob, your mother taught him the importance of how it is to work and to do what you got to do. She would work 2 jobs and look her best. And I must say she was a self-sufficient woman. So there you go.
I watched my moms go to work. The 9 bus wasn't working. She walked to Jacoby in the snow. And walked back. I was like, yeah, I can't be lazy.
So you mean to tell me she ain't just go get back in the bed and I'll try again tomorrow?
Nah, I'm good.
He was not sitting in the house with us. Me and my sister might have been like, we ain't gotta go to school, it's snowing. We're looking at mine like, damn, she's still going. It's snow outside. Like,
yo,
this is right.
Yo, that's a really good segue to the next thing we're gonna talk about. Like, what's up with the weather recently? Like, and Rob brought this up. Like, with the weather pattern has been crazy, and now I see, like they said, like I guess through Middle America, like there's some huge storm coming through. That there's a possibility for rain and snow. And
check this out.
I got a funny one for you. That before you start, a funny one. So we live in the Northeast, right? Okay. You ever notice that the weather people now are trying to act like these things always happen? Like, yeah, you know,
regular shit.
Regular flooding. What regular flooding and what regular
There's a reason for that, because they don't want no one to even be curious as to why. And I think people need to know why. And I'll just tell you this. early in September 8th, I think it was, about 8 flooding disasters happened on 4 continents simultaneously. Now, the thing about that is that what people are not paying attention to, because we're watching Cat and everybody else distract the damn world, is there are a lot of polar caps that are melting. The reason why is that the planet is getting warm. Now, we already know the planet is 3/4 water. So that means the planet is getting warm or warmer. Where's that evaporation going? Where's that water going? It's going up in this cloud.
So Rob, you believe it? You believe in global warming?
It's not even a belief of whether it's global warming. This is the reason why we're talking about the weather. These things are not haphazardly happening. There's so much water on the planet, and there's so much water being emptied into the ocean by way of polar caps and all that. When the planet warms up, it has to naturally rise. We all drink tea. We see steam. That's how it goes. Sometimes people forget when they're driving through fog. That's water. That still has to go somewhere. So when the planet is saturated and these things, it makes easy for water to travel. It's funny. I'm reading a book by Bruce Lee about Be Water, because water has a way of traveling wherever it needs to go. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about weather because people are distracted and not paying attention, and a lot of things are happening. Like the floods that happen from Libya to Greece, Turkey, South Brazil, Spain to China, Hong Kong, all the way to Texas and New Jersey, all at the same time.
Yeah.
This is not like it happened yesterday. Oh, the next month. On top of that, is earthquakes, there's tsunamis, there's all sorts of things, and they're happening. They're not coming on the news. They're not because they don't want nobody to panic, and I don't want you to panic either. My reason for bringing this up is to be aware of what's happening when the weather happens, and just paying attention, because you may need to know what to do if your power is out for 5 days. You have no internet. You're working from home now because now you're a remote person since the pandemic. How do you deal with that? These things are going to happen. They're going to happen more frequently, and they're going to happen in large mass. We just got some snow. They talked about 6 inches, right? No, I got 1.5 feet. You know what I'm saying? So to go out there and be like, wow. And then the next day, it's 55 degrees and it's warm.
Yeah.
So there's conspiracy theories out there. There could be weather machines. Someone's playing with the weather, but we do live on a living planet. And at this point, it's happening everywhere, bro. It's not, man can't be all in these same places at the same time, making all this happen simultaneously at the same time, bro.
Yeah.
That's I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if for me it's an issue of feeling like that the media is covering up as so much as I think that there are a lot of people that's just in denial about it. That's why I said to you, I was like, oh, so you believe in global warming? I was kind of just saying it like to be facetious. Like, I just think that there are still a lot of people who don't subscribe to the concept of global warming. And that's why I say all the time, like, to me, the simplest example of global warming is that when I was a kid, every year it snowed on Christmas. Now it's 80 degrees on Christmas. You know, that's not coincidental.
It's not coincidental. Spring is not the same. Summer's not the same, nor is winter.
Yeah, do you really need those heavy winter clothes like you used to need now? I don't see it as much as frequently. And then when you look at it, we all grew up in the Bronx. And in your whole lifetime, have you ever seen, I know there was always flooding at times in the Bronx River, but have you ever seen cars get submerged? Yeah, where people got to get rescued out of cars and people standing on cars? Yeah. We've never seen that.
Never in my life. Yeah. And it's only going to persist. So don't wait until you look out your window and you're on the 12th floor and it's snow at your ledge. I'm being facetious, but the people in their individual time should pay attention to what's around them. And a lot of time it's the nature. It's the nature of how things is moving and happening on the planet, and we're too distracted not to be paying attention to that. We see in the videos when it rains in New York, you would think all that water going down the train stations, it look crazy.
Yeah. And now it's starting to be much more common. Beth said in Saskatchewan, Canada, we had no snow until the first week in January. That's not normal.
It's not normal, bro.
Yeah, that's not.
And that's further north, so it's already warm up there. Like I said, them caps are turning over.
Did you see that now that they're starting to make companies or place people in home locations? Like I know in New York, New Jersey, before you sell those houses, they gotta let you know whether you're in a flood zone or not.
Flood zone, yeah.
And don't buy no new cars because all them cars that's happening in Japan, Hong Kong, they're gonna send over there. They're gonna have flood damage.
Yeah, pull up the rug.
Watch the Nissans and all the Toyotas that you buy.
You talking about remember Major Auto, Rob?
Tsunami cars. Get you a brand new Tsunami car.
That's my alert. Man. That's my alert to people, man. Like, wow, we're sensationalizing ourselves with social media and our individual lives. If you're out there working for yourself, please pay attention to what the weather is doing. It's above your head. It affects you, whether you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And it may not stop the way we think it should stop. It's going to continue going. So we're all going to have to change because of it at some point.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the story that recently came out about the 215 bodies found in graves behind the Mississippi State Prison? Now, when I originally saw the story, I thought that they were alluding to that these were prisoners from the prison, that something happened to them and that they was just burying them behind there. But then after close research, it just seems like that was just like the dumping ground for that was their version of Potter's Field where they were just putting people at. And the sad thing about it is that they were putting people back there without even giving families an opportunity to identify the bodies. Like in one situation, I don't know if you heard about this. In one situation, there was a gentleman that was hit by the police, hit by a cop car, and his parents was trying to find him. He got hit by a cop car 10 minutes from his home, they said. And the mom ended up finding out that he was buried back there in an unmarked grave after several years. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the man still had his wallet and his ID and all that in his pocket.
Mm-hmm. So how is he unidentified if he got all that information on him?
Well, I think in that case, it might have been something else going on. The police.
How are you unidentified? And your ID, your medical card, all of that is in your wallet. So
they didn't want to identify him. That's what that was.
When they exhumed the body, what's this? Oh, here he is.
Now, here's the other thing. Did you hear that they're charging them to retrieve their loved ones, to dig their loved ones up? There's a fee associated with it.
Oh, you want to charge me after you just dump the body? Now you want to charge me for
that you was hiding my loved one?
Yeah.
And it ain't just black people too. It's some white people that was been in there too.
Yeah.
It's everybody. That's just become like the dumping ground.
Dog, cat, everything is being buried back there.
So I wonder because have you ever seen it's morbid, but it's interesting. Have you ever seen the photos online of Potter's Field? They were showing it a lot during the pandemic because they were showing
I seen that. And they dig dirt, throw you in, cover. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't know that. And that's why a lot of times when certain buildings are being erected, when they go into digging, they digging up graves, bro. There's been bodies so many different places on this planet that when you go to excavate and want to do certain things,
bodies everywhere.
Bones, bro. You gotta move so much. I seen a sister talk about this on one of the platforms, and she was like, Jackson, Mississippi in particular, this has a history of sundown at 6 type of thing. Like, you need not to be outside when the sun goes down.
I can see that in Mississippi.
And that area is known for that. My concern is the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi is a black man. So how do you handle that when you got to go to the chief of police or deputy or whoever the hell he is and explain to him, how y'all putting bodies behind the prison, bro?
But it gotta be more than the police.
Yeah.
Who tipped that person to find there's bodies back there? And they ain't prisoners. They're actually telling prisoners to dig up the holes to dump them in and hide. Come on, what the fuck is that?
Doesn't it sound like though, like almost like a fraternity kind of thing? Like it was just like a group of clearly of people who knew like this is a place where we dump the bodies.
We just toss them in here. Yeah, there's a whole group of people that had to know about it, and now the cat's out of the bag. So what's
and those are the ones that should pay.
Well, you got to figure, like you said, this man is left holding the bag. Now he's got to answer for this somehow.
And listen, bro, that whoever's involved, they all need to get shooken down, and they should be in the damn grave.
Well, Ben Crump, you know, like, I think one of the families hired Ben Crump, attorney Ben Crump.
Yeah?
He's out
Ben
there.
Crump,
He's
wow.
supposed to be. Yeah, he's supposed to be out there. He's involved.
He's on it.
Yeah, he's gonna make do of putting some light onto that and come up with a victory for the families, because like I said, it's not just a bunch of black families, man. I've seen a couple of white families out there. Like, I lost a loved one. He's buried behind the prison. So what are they doing? They just knocking off people. I don't report this.
You know what? I mean, I'm sure it's probably more socio-economical than race.
Well, here's the thing. It costs now.
I would agree.
So the cost is $250 to $750 to retrieve the body. Yeah, and that covers the cost of retrieving the body, and you get a death certificate for it.
Yo, this is the body over here now. Pay us to get it back. And
why is the federal government not involved with this?
Now, Crump said he's enlisting the federal government to do a full investigation on how it started, when it started, why they put them out there. They only labeled a number in a poll. Like, the fuck?
Mm-hmm. They try to move away from that. They try to distance themselves as much as possible from that.
We should keep an eye on this, bro, for real, and not let this.
I mean,
on the road.
Yeah, because of course, nobody, the federal government. I'm sure I wouldn't want the responsibility either. You know, I wouldn't take ownership, but it certainly warrants an investigation. Like, where did this come from? How did this start?
How did we get there?
215 people. That's a lot of families, bro.
Beth talking about laying somebody down. She said if it was my son, somebody wouldn't be alive.
I think Beth. She played. She played. I know that's right though. Come on, man.
But serious, like
looking for your child.
Wallet, ID in his wallet.
Yeah, we couldn't identify him.
I pray none of my friends, none of my loved ones, none of you guys have to deal with a missing child. So they go through a missing child, missing person scenario, and something happened, but then you find out, and then you get a tip that son might be buried behind the jail. What the fuck? What?
Yeah, what are you going? Yeah.
What do you mean? And then then come to find out that he is in there.
Well, you had to think.
So you get that tip. You get that tip. Where do you start at? Would you just go back? You think they just went back there and dug everybody up and started saying like, we gotta look through. So clearly, if they found the dude's wallet, he was still fully clothed. They just dumped his body back there.
I think they were just trying to avoid dealing with the parents and stuff. You remember the police was saying we were hit him with the car. That's a big investigation right there.
And that family that you're referring to, Shah, I think 3 months or 3 years prior, she had lost her brother to a killing by the same police department. That it was already an investigation on her brother for wrongdoing by that same police department, just to find her son either 3 months or 3 years later that her son is buried in that same that potter's field.
Mm-hmm.
All his clothes and his wallet and all that, and that's how you find out your son is not.
Yeah, that doesn't seem coincidental.
Not at all.
No, not
at all. It just seems like a pattern of behavior in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's not.
I would agree to that.
I finally got a chance to get through the Cat Williams interview. I got through one, but I know he got a second one out there. Everybody has like different opinions on it. One of the things I keep seeing people talking about is how Cat Williams, I guess, supposedly outed a lot of people, and like how he's like a folklore, a legend, a hero now. I'm trying to think of like in the interview, did he say anything that y'all didn't already know, or anything that was like outwardly surprised? It was more entertainment than anything to me. I didn't really hear anything that made me be like, this is something I didn't know. How about y'all?
I like a phrase that he said. He said, I'm the master of my masters.
He had a couple.
What he was saying was, I'm not selling nothing I create. All my shit is mine. And he was referring to the Ricky Smiley thing when, you know, Ricky Smiley said he had the right of Money Mike and all that other stuff. But
I thought that was hilarious.
Cat, let me tell you something. Cat is always going to be of a different breed because he sees information in light not like everybody else. He's not for the status quo. He's not going to go for the okie doke. He's going to question things. He's a wise cat. According to him, he's been on his own since he's been like 12. And his story is captivating because as he's telling his story, it feels like he's giving you an honest rendition of what he went through and how he went through it. And I can't, and it leaves no question. So when I look at how he's blasting everybody, it's like this cat knows something a little bit about everything that most people don't think he does know.
Yeah.
Who are we to question what he does? Now, if he has receipts as he claims he does, well, goddamn. What do you do with that? You know what I mean? This guy, let me tell you something, man. He's a smart guy. I'm gonna tell you that. And he makes a lot of bread. You may not like what he says. And most people like that are like that. They're provocative, if you will. They'll come off very edgy, and they like that. And Cat said one instead of I need a hater. I need somebody to hate my ass. Like he relishes on that because he knows that people are emotional enough to give into shit like that.
You know what I love about Cat Williams that I nobody could ever take from him? The fact that he actually paid for Melba Moore's Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Like I thought that was admirable. And then for people watching, if you haven't seen, we got an interview on this channel too where we interview Melba Moore. But a lot of the stuff that he said, like I said, I found that it was entertaining. You know, it's comical to me. But
it's pretty much Cat.
Yeah, but aside, he didn't say anything like the joke stealing and stuff like that. I knew joke stealing went on in comedy. I knew comedians had writers. You know, as far as Steve Harvey's hairpiece, that's been speculated for years. So yeah, it's just like, you know, like I don't know. To me, it was humorous. The stuff that was interesting though too was like the part around Kevin Hart, where he was talking about like Kevin Hart is I think a double agent or a transplant or something like that, and questioning his comedic credentials. When I see stuff like that, I want to know why though. I always struggle with the fact that like, damn, like we live in a day and time that anytime anybody gets some level of success, especially a black man or whatever, people always say that, you know, how you call it, like, yo, they a plant, they Illuminati. They didn't sold out a crossover.
They took it in the butt, and that's how they got there.
Oh yeah. He insinuated a couple of those things.
And a lot of that could be true. A lot of that can be false. But the only person that would have to deal with any of that is the person that put themselves through it. Putting someone on blast because of it to get likes or get whatever it is you're looking to receive out there. I think that's disingenuous, but people do it. This business. It's the way the world works, the way the machine works. Look at Shannon Sharpe. His joint got 45 million views, bro.
Yo, here's another thing that prior to that interview, Cat Williams had his show in Bridgeport, and it kept coming up on my Instagram feed. So one time I clicked on it and I was like, I wonder how much the tickets are. It was like $130 to sit on the floor. Well, after that interview, I clicked on it again, $700 to sit on the floor. Ticket or whatever. I seen Cat Williams in concert before. I wasn't overly impressed. I think he's funny. He says funny things, but again, like the stuff that he was saying, it was more than anything. It was like watching somebody get roasted, like somebody snapping on somebody kind of thing. Like I didn't really take anything away from it that I didn't know. What did you think of it, Ken?
Some of the stuff is hilarious though. I gotta say that Ricky Smiley clause, like, in my contract, whenever I work with Ricky Smiley, he gotta wear a dress.
That's the only time I got that written in my contract.
And you remember that movie First Sunday? What was Ricky Smiley addressed in that movie with him and Ice Cube?
Yeah.
But I don't think any of this stuff is like stuff that people didn't know as far as people stealing jokes and different stuff. But I did think that, you know what? I think sometimes it's just a matter of like level setting, because you notice he ain't say nothing like about people like Dave Chappelle, DL Hughley, those type of guys. I think some of these guys do get a little bit above themselves. And a lot of times it is corny, like the way it is, because I'm sure in every profession there is, and all, especially entertainment, there are gatekeepers. Where if you get in with this particular group, you can move forward, and if you're trying to do your own thing on the outside, it's a lot harder. So I could believe that, like some of these shows and different things. That's not unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's been discredited though. You know, they always say that he got a drug problem or he crazy, or so there definitely has been a lot of defamation of his character, and horrible things said about him. You know, hopefully, like this he's been rejuvenated, and hopefully he takes this spark and run with it and do something with it. But I don't know. I just watched it, and like I said, I found the humor in it, but I was like, I don't really hear anything, because I hadn't seen it, and I know you all saw it last time we was on. He's talking like briefly about it, and everybody was telling me, you gotta watch it. So I watched it like in bits and pieces and everything, and I was like, okay, no, okay. But it was stuff that I'd already heard, and now like sometimes I watch videos online and people are like, yeah, because this person got a writer, and Kevin Hart got people writing for him and this, that. And I'm like, in the comedy game, it's pretty common that people got writers.
You know what I'm enjoying out of this? The wave of propaganda. Like the power of curiosity is crazy. Because all you got to do is say, yo, did you hear what someone said? Everyone is going that way. Before you know it, here we are, you know, it's the topic of conversation. And I wish that happened for more things. You know what I mean? Where if there's some information out there worthy of knowing, that we should be running to it to get to know it. But
well, we talked about that last show though, Rob. Remember when we were remember we were talking about Diddy, and I was like, yo, why are we more inclined to believe the stuff that's messy? Like we gonna run towards that. We want to get that than you know, the positive information.
Well, as you figure, it's a cultural thing. Think about it this way: we talking about writers in comedy. Same thing like this. You know, we're writers in rap, writers in other music. You don't hear nobody talking about you got a writer in country music. That country music singer had a writer. Nobody says that.
Kids, kids, yeah. So Bosch 365 says Cap popped it off 2024, the year of exposing, the year of expose. Yo, we used to have a segment. We used to have a segment. We haven't done it in a long time, but I figured, like in the spirit of Cat Williams, we bring the segment back, and we call the segment "Give Me 5." You know, so we usually have like random different things. You know, it could be like, "Give me your 5, the 5 worst movies of all time to you." You know, your 5 favorite dishes, the 5 best actors of all time. So, in the spirit of Cat Williams, give me 5. I want to hear both of your 5 favorite comedians and why. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Hey, Yada.
Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is the blueprint for all of these dudes you see out here, and he followed behind like guys like Richard Pryor, but Eddie Murphy really perfected it in the blueprint. You got Martin Lawrence. Martin did his own thing. Martin really was the person that branched out with all those impressions and stuff like that. So you got him. I like Dave Chappelle. I think Dave Chappelle was him. He's one of the people that like he sells some of the best stories. Dave Chappelle comes full circle. So Dave Chappelle's the only person I heard say something like, I kicked him in, and then he's like, you'll understand in the end. Yeah. And he goes full topic with that. I think, you know, I like Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart has a lot of, I don't care whether he writes the material or not, because I mean, it's still the delivery.
Right, you got the Red Cup Boys.
Yeah. So you know, I don't think he makes any qualms about it, but he has a lot of funny stuff. I even think some of his stuff got even funnier when he ended up having to get into more his personal life. So I thought that was better for him. And I like, believe it or not, I like Cat. I like Cat, and I was, you know, who was on the fence with? I like Lavelle Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford is cool. Yeah. For the people that's in the chat, Give me your 5 also. Beth said George Carlin. George Carlin, I had originally as one of mine too. I like George Carlin. Rob, what's your 5?
Yeah, she said George
Nah,
Carlin.
they don't have to be black. 5
No,
queens,
they have to be black.
Just
I like polarizing comedians too. That's crazy. I didn't even think about George Carlin.
This doing there?
I tell you this. The first comedian I really liked growing up before Eddie Murphy was Whoopi Goldberg.
Really?
She did a Great. Listen, she did an HBO special back in the days that I thought was the funniest shit ever. But that's my story.
Okay.
My 5 is Richard Pryor.
Yep. Okay.
And the same reason why I like the next 4, because Richard Pryor gave you his
Rob, hold on. So Whoopi's not on there?
No, Whoopi's not.
All right. Okay.
It was that one stand-up, and after that, it was no other stand-ups after that. But she got me into liking comedy. Like, to see someone stand up and talk about themselves and go through the stories she went through. She told good stories too. I was like, oh shit. And I was able to sit up and watch. My mother allowed me to watch that. So that was my introduction. But then when Eddie came, of course, that was another polarizing figure that just like, this nigga's cursing like I want to curse in the street. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Damon Wayans, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock. I like all 5 of them because of how they tell stories.
Yeah.
Tell stories and it's about their family, about their cousin, about their mother, or if they've created a fucking character.
Yeah, I forgot all about Chris Rock.
Sir.
That's pretty good.
Characters that they create for the stories that they tell. I tell you, man, I don't hurt my stomach laughing at these brothers.
So I got Eddie Murphy. You had Eddie Murphy too, right, Rob?
I had Eddie Murphy.
We all had Eddie Murphy. He's unanimous.
Eddie Murphy. You know why I had Eddie Murphy? Because Eddie Murphy to me is one of the few people that from stage they translated to box office superstar. Like he was like in the 80s, the first guy that you really saw.
They were box office hit. Him, Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
black man.
Think about it. Him, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jackson. That was the 80s.
That was the 80s, bro.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy. Then I got Mel Brooks. I've always liked Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Also like his like Spaceballs and things like that. Mel Brooks. I've always liked. It was a toss up between Mel Brooks and George Carlin. Dave Chappelle. I put Dave Chappelle because I think to me nobody tells a story like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle will keep you roped in, for a long time, and you sit and you watch.
You gotta sit and wait for the cliffhanger.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle, I think, and you know what it is. I think also seeing the growth of Dave Chappelle from like half baked and to what he is now. Tracy Morgan, and I said Tracy Morgan. You know what I like? You know what I like about Tracy Morgan? To me, Tracy Morgan is a hood comedian. Like the stuff he say, you can relate to if at some point in time you lived in the projects or lived around the projects.
Yeah.
You finished? I was gonna say something.
No, I got Richard Pryor. And I got Richard Pryor because I think Richard Pryor was pretty much like a mentor and sort of, there was Red Fox before Richard Pryor, but I think Richard Pryor was like the first person that was like candid, open, and really raw, like even about like his own life and humor out of it. And then lastly, like my honorable mention, I always like everybody be like, yo, you like him? He not funny. D.L. Hughley. I like D.L. Hughley. A lot of people don't find him funny.
I was on the fence with a lot of guys, son.
Bruce.
There's a lot of guys that I like.
You like Bruce?
I like Bruce. I had to stick with the core of the guys, and I was on the face with with Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan has this character. I don't know if your guys remember on Comedy Central. Is it Comedy Central or Comedy Channel or something? They had this show called Crank Yankers.
Yeah, I know.
When he played Spoonie Love from Up Above.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
If anybody you want to piss your fucking pants? Go YouTube and go Crank Yankers. Anything Crank Yankers, but go look for Spoonie Love Up Above. played by the voiceover by Tracy Morgan. My nigga. That
I was on the fence with Chris Rock too. Like I like Chris Rock a lot. The last joint he had, it was okay. It wasn't that great. I like the older Chris Rock material. The same thing about Kevin Hart. Like I just never found Kevin Hart to be like really funny like that.
Yeah,
like
then funny.
But his older material used to really make I thought his older stuff when he used to talk like about his dad, like all right, you're gonna learn today. Like that's when I thought he was funny. But now look at him like he has a different type of humor that I guess it's not for me. Who else is another person that
my mother Ronnie said, remember Dice Clay? Hey,
Andrew Dice Clay was hilarious.
Yeah, you know who
Rodney Dangerfield too, though. Rodney Dangerfield was hilarious also.
Larry David,
yes. Yeah, it's all right, but I just never was like a big fan. I never was like a Seinfeld fan really that much either. They just weren't for me.
A funny stand-up like years ago, like I never thought I'd be watching a stand-up. Robin Williams.
Yo, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was a comedic genius.
Robin Williams had funny stand-ups.
There was a whole circuit of them. Robin Williams, Richard Pryor was in there. Oh my God, I can see it all the top, but I can't think of their name.
Yeah, some
a whole slew of them, bro. A whole slew of them old school comedians, and they would do that because Richard Pryor had a show, and on his show,
Paul Mooney was a writer.
Oh, right there. That's what I was trying to get.
Paul Mooney. Look at that.
Yeah, Paul Mooney. Beth said Bill Burr. Bill Burr is hilarious too. I don't know. Yeah. Have you ever watched F is for Family on Netflix?
No.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yo, if you see F is for Family on Netflix, it's a cartoon, but I guess it's supposed to be like loosely based on his childhood and his dad or whatever. Like, yeah, he's a hilarious dude. I like Bill Burr also. Who else is good? Now you said Kenyatta said Lavelle Crawford. Lavelle Crawford to me is hit or miss. I've seen like a couple of stand-ups by him that I really, really like. I can't even believe I'm gonna say this in public, but you know who had one good stand-up too? That you be like, nah, get out of here. Similar to your Whoopi, Rob. Sinbad had a good stand-up.
Oh,
not Sinbad. Sinbad.
Oh.
He's a throwback Cosby because he didn't use any profanity, but a little bit theatrical. But I remember him on Comic View and all that too. Like he can carry a good stand-up. I like him too. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. Nah, he had a good stand-up. I was surprised. I was like, Sinbad with a good stand-up.
He had a few of them too. He had a few of them that were all right. And then he just faded out.
This kind of stand-up's not too bad either. Some of them, Marlon Williams.
The Wayans Boys,
yeah.
I saw Marlon Wayans in concert at Caroline's before. It was like,
I tell you,
I saw him in concert and I was really impressed. I saw Chris Tucker before and I was like, wasn't really impressed. I saw Chappelle.
Yeah, Tommy Davidson was.
She's okay to me. She's basically like the female Chris Rock. I don't find Tommy Davidson really.
He wasn't funny at all. It seemed like they was heckling him.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen a funny Damon Wayans stand up before. So yeah, I can see why. I don't know who said Damon Wayans. Did one of y'all say Damon Wayans?
He said Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb is about.
Corey Holcomb is funny.
Yeah,
but to me, Corey Holcomb is Corey Holcomb to me is Tracy Morgan, the Tracy Morgan joint, and then of course Patrice O'Neal. I used to love Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal passed away. Kenyatta, you may not remember. I remember one night we went to like a comedy club down in the city. This was years ago, and Patrice O'Neal was there performing. I remember coming outside, and he was like chilling outside reading the newspaper.
Oh, that's when that fool Tommy Davidson was there, remember?
yeah. Patrice O'Neal was he passed away very young, but Patrice O'Neal was hilarious.
He was good. He was nice. He was definitely
I'm trying to think who else. Cat Williams I saw in concert also. Cat Williams, it was okay. It was okay. I saw Mike Epps also. I'd have probably preferred to see Omar Epps. in person. But yeah, I saw Mike Epps before in concert also. He was like, it wasn't, you know.
Everyone else falls in the shadows a little bit. They have hit or miss shows or hit or miss little spots every now and then.
Yeah.
JB Smooth, you know, even Mike Epps. Mike Epps, I've seen someone I was like, all right, you can't keep doing the fucking crazy. You can't keep doing that joke, son. I've seen that joke in all your specials now.
Yo, Rob, personal feelings aside, what do you think of Ari Spears?
Oh,
personal feelings aside, Ari Spears is a dope. He's another provocative one. I respect him. I respect his craft, even though he won't fuck with us, but that's okay.
You like Jay Farrell? You like Jay Farrell?
Jay Farrell, I fucks with him too.
I'm not really that. I remember he had a show on. I've never really been like sold on him per se.
I know I've seen Michael Che before.
Michael Che is okay.
Yeah,
he's okay. I mean, to me, it's like, you know, it's hit or miss. Like sometimes people have a good special, sometimes people have some horrible. Like to me, I think what was the joint that Martin did? Run to That.
To me, that was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't think. But You So Crazy was good.
That was crazy. But Run Tell That.
Trash, right?
Somebody told me you should throw another stand-up, chase the bag. Nah, you should have left that one alone, bro. But that hot ass leather jersey he had on, he was sweating up there. He was struggling. I seen it like. Nah.
But you know what? The funny part though about that is when he told the story about how they found him out. Yeah, he passed out along. Yeah, I was just jogging. Nah, I'm lying.
I'm gonna tell you, yo, another person that, and I'm sorry. Look, for people that's watching this, I'm sorry if this upsets you, but I don't find Cedric the Entertainer to be funny.
Because he's not.
He's out of Cedric the Entertainer. It's not funny.
He's a. You know what it is to hip hop? He's Flavor Flav. He's the ad-libs. Cedric's the ad libs. He can extend something extra. Like he's a
comedic mascot.
You want to hear something interesting about this whole conversation? You know, nobody mentioned Bill Cosby.
No, in the comments, I think Beth said something about
said Bill Cosby.
Yeah,
Bill Cosby.
Or Bernie Mac.
Cosby wasn't always the clean. Yeah, or Bill Cosby wasn't always the clean comedian either.
I'm trying to think like
you got
Bernie Mac, like Bernie Mac.
What about John Witherspoon?
You see a Bill Cosby special with him cussing?
Yeah, he used to have records with him cussing.
I need to get those. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So what? All right, so let's take it to the females. What about some more?
She's funny.
Yeah,
I fuck with
Tiffany Haddish.
No, I don't fuck with Tiffany Haddish.
I mean, I watched the whole thing of her. Like, that was all bad. It wasn't that good.
I've never seen a funny Tiffany Haddish stand up.
There isn't none.
Yeah,
she's another spotty comedian. Like she has her moments. She can't keep her special, and that's what Kat was saying. It's hard to keep it. You gotta have fresh joints, bro.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
what about Monique?
Funny. I thought Monique was funny.
Her last joint wasn't funny to me though.
Nah, I think she was too much. She was too much of the feelings on that last one.
What's the thing mean? She got big teeth. That's all I know.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Adele Givens.
Yeah,
no, and there's another one too. Cheryl. His name is Cheryl something. Cheryl Underwood.
Cheryl Underwood?
Cheryl Underwood.
I don't know. Boss 365. Tiffany is funny at the barbecue. Not at no barbecue.
Yeah, we ain't got no barbecue. She ain't funny. Get out of here with that.
Nah, I don't think I've ever heard Tiffany Haddish say anything funny.
Wanda Sykes.
I probably would watch Whoopi Goldberg stand up before her.
Nah, I wouldn't watch. Yeah, she's funny in movies though. In movies, she's funny.
Whoopi got a stand up 1984 HBO, son. I remember it.
Yo, I'm trying to think what movie because I've seen Tiffany Haddish in movies before. Like, was she in Night School with Kevin Hart? I don't really remember. I don't know. To me, it's she's. I just don't find her funny.
Where, the one where she got out of jail and Whoopi was her and the other girl's mother.
Yeah, I think I seen that, and it was dry too.
Was that a Tyler Perry production?
I don't think it was, because that's when Ghost was the boyfriend.
It was Tyler Perry ain't seen.
That budget's beyond that. He couldn't get them all for 400,000.
Yeah, I see. Boss says Wanda Sykes is probably the best all-around female comic.
Oh yeah, she's good. I watched the special.
She's tight. She has a couple of specials, and yeah. I like her and Epps. They got a Netflix special called Upside or Uptown or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty dope. A little sitcom. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. What about talent? Rob Stapleton, them kind of dudes.
It's just comedy.
The BBQ's comedians.
Those are them Casa and Fuego guys, son.
For the people from the Rob, hold on. For the people that's not from New York City, tell them what that means. Casa and Fuego. I think it's called Salsa con Fuego also.
Casa, salsa, hueva and fuego. That place is just like BBQs, man. Listen, man.
Dude, I seen things go left for them in other places where they go in there and they think they got the win, and people in the crowd is on it.
It's on it, son. They're not going for it, son. That's first in the Apollo. Get out of here, man.
Yo, Rob, Casa and Fuego. House is hot. Casa on fire. Oh man,
House on fire, right?
Yo, but here's something though. Here's something that's a fact though. Like to kind of summarize this, and I think I heard Ari Spears say it, and I was like, yeah, that's true. All of it is subjective. It depends on what like your brand of humor is, right? So anybody can say, yo, Cat Williams, the greatest comedian of all time. Richard Pryor, the greatest comedian of all time. Red Fox, whoever. All of it is subjective. It's just a matter of what appeals to you and what your brand of humor is. Okay. So, like you guys name people that to me, I'm like, it's not for me. But I'm sure I name people that you like, you like Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks, like, damn, you dug in the crates for that one.
Mel Brooks, boy, you ain't like Spaceballs?
I love Space. You know what? I like
Life Stinks.
The entire cast of Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett was a great show.
That was good, yeah.
Dope ass variety show with Tim McCormick. What was the name?
Tim McCormick.
Yeah.
Yo, is Ashley Larry a Salsa con Fuego comedian?
I don't know. I think I seen him like.
Nels is laughing at me because it's the Casa and Fuego. She's giggling on me.
I think I seen him doing comedian at an amateur boxing match.
You got it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you know where it is too. So.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yo, Casa and Fuego. Salsa con Fuego off Major Deegan.
Off 87, right there on the corner.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Yo, so to wrap up. The remarks relates to comedians, to anything we discussed tonight. Any closing remarks?
Yeah. What you got, bro?
Okay. I tell you what, like we talking about comedians and everything or something. You get some of these people out here not requiring degrees in this weather, the jobs might have the last laugh on a lot of people. The real joke might be on us.
Listen,
go ahead, Rob.
Job markets have, and the thing about that too is that you remove the bachelor degree and you open up. I just hope what I want to happen more in work or job market is the service got to get better. Somebody got to teach people customer service. People are coming to work as if they're doing.
Rob, you sound like you're speaking from an experience. Something happened recently?
I just know because I worked in service so long. I know what it is to give customer service and watch the satisfaction on someone's face when you give it to them. because they either reward you or say, you know what, I had a great experience while here. You don't get that anymore. No one is going forthright to give the experience of you being a buyer or a consumer. I mean, I worked a job at FAO Swords where they taught you that. You know what I mean? They taught you how to sell something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have to be able to be people person. You got to be able to initiate. You got to know your product. You got to be able to, you know, smooth a little bit. Sell a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And service like that is passe. It's like, you know what you came in for. You need your receipt. I buy it. The fuck? Get out of here, man. It's not where it needs for consumers to want to buy. That's why you can go to Amazon when you ain't got to talk to nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
I was about to say, but do you think that's the result now? People just believe in that product, you know, like whatever the product is, it sells itself.
I think that has something to do with it because most people like to shortcut their way into life to think, well, if you come, that's what you came here for. I don't need to speak to it, but I need to know if it works on both TVs. You know, I need to know if is it compatible with something. That's what selling a product is. If you're there to work in retail or whatever it is, or if you're providing a service. If you're providing a service, I need to know what services you have, and are there any other alternative services that you can do to help with that? You know what I mean? That's important for someone to know that. When you ain't got that, or I get my manager, or I don't know that yet, or they ain't trained me on that, or there's a what you doing here, bro?
Yo, so I got a quick story, an interesting experience I has as it relates to customer service. So there was a time I was going to buy a car, and I was looking around at different cars. So I went to first I went to a Honda dealership, not too far from me, and for some reason, anytime I go to this Honda dealership, like service is always horrible. So the dude sold me the car, you know, did like a test drive, and he gave me like a whole discussion about it, told me like all the bells and whistles, the features, all the stuff. Like he really went overboard to try to sell me the car. So from there, I went to the BMW dealership, you know, and I got in the car with the dude to test drive the BMW, and I was like, well, you tell me why I should get this over whatever it is. He was like, no, these cars sell themselves. He was like, if you hear, you've already researched it. He was like, I don't have to sell you on this car. If you hear clearly you interested and you know, or whatever. And I didn't
like,
huh?
Like, they tell me something about the car. Do I have AM, FM? Did my seats heat up? Like, my nigga,
yo, dude said nothing. He just literally sat in the passenger seat and was like, yo, just go ahead, go for it, drive wherever you want in it or whatever, and was like encouraging me, like, nah, go faster, see whatever. That was the extent of his sales pitch. He was like, these cars sell themselves. You don't have to. He's like, we don't do that here.
That's why he's driving the vehicle, bro. And that's why he's
Let me tell you, I could tell you a funny story, a Bronx story. So you know, on Tremont they got the Toyota right next to the Honda, right? Right over there. So I went in the Honda place. I was all set to like get an Accord, right? And I had like, at the time, I had like $4,000 or $5,000 down payment in cash. I went in the Honda place. I was walking around in circles, opening doors, looking at stuff, looking at them, whatever. Never moved. Nobody moved. I walked right across with a mount to be about 6 feet into the Toyota place and got a Camry right in front of me.
Wow. Yeah. No service, bro. And that's what I hope and pray improves. That, you know, I guess, you know, when you come from discipline, bachelor's degree, any amount of discipline to get you have some sort of, I don't know, responsibility to want to be courteous, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Because when people come to work, they're like, I'm here for 8 hours and I gotta go. That shouldn't, in my opinion.
You talking about people taking pride in their job. You're talking about people taking pride in their job, Rob. I don't know. You know, there are a lot of people that are employed doing things that they're unhappy with doing, and that's not their passion. You know, it's just a means to an end for them. So, you know, you can tell, like, you ever go someplace and you get customer service from a waiter, and you could tell that even though they may not be making a ton of money, that they really enjoy what they're doing because they're a people person, you know, or they like the job, whatever it is, they're just engaged. There are other people that is, you know, it's apparent. They're like, you know what, this is a check. They don't care.
I got another funny story about that. So I went to like a Chili's, right, with the family, and we ate in the restaurant. The waiter was really cool. I gave him a nice tip and everything else, right? 3 days later, I'm in my neighborhood or something. I got a flat tire, and I'm trying to get the flat tire. You know who came over and helped me out with it? The dude that was the waiter. I didn't even know that he lived in the neighborhood. The dude that was the waiter came over and helped me get the flat tire.
Yeah.
You see that?
See that? Yeah. But yo, you know what? The flip side of that though is like, think about how difficult people are on people that's in the service industry. You know, so I would imagine that it got to be hard to keep, you know, to keep a straight face and to be excited about your work if people coming in there and just dumping every issue they have on you and going off on you for no reason.
You mean you can't make up stuff that's not on the menu and get mad at them because they can't do it?
It does work both ways, bro. I do agree with that.
Well, we want to thank everybody for pulling up, tuning in tonight. Episode 179 of the No Ideas Original Podcast. Again, like I said at the end of the show, always go back. I encourage you to look through our catalog and see some of the interviews that we've done with various artists. And sometimes it's just us having conversations on our own, which seem to be a lot more entertaining, honestly, when we talk about these current events. But you know, if you haven't already, you know, if you're watching us on IG, go over to our YouTube page. The link is in the bio. Subscribe to the channel, give our video a like, and again, go back, look at some of the catalog. With that, everybody, have a good night. Peace. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Later.